Our first event on this week's program is a 35-lap feature for the John Auto Parts Pure Leader Late Models, and there's a look at how they line up.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. And as we look back in the middle of the pack, we'll see all of the hot shoes again. The Craigans, the Galts, the Millers back in the field due to the handicapping system. But look who's on the pole. Last week's feature winner, Ken Imler Jr. Can he do it again tonight? He's up front because of the handicapping system.
And the 20-year-old pilot gets a momentary jump on the one of Clay Houston. 58-year-old driver from Phillipsburg, Pennsylvania, comes right back even with the 87 machine Imler. Now Imler starts to stretch it out, but watch what happens on the back straight. Rick Jock in a black automobile gets together with a 36 of Tom Erickson, and both cars go careening into inside and outside walls respectively.
And as we can see again on the replay, upper left-hand corner of your screen, the black car, that's Jock. He touches Erickson's car, and then, oh, ouch, he hits that outside retaining wall very hard, lifts the right side of the car actually off the pavement, and he comes to a rest. Rick was taken to a local hospital for observation. He is okay from what we understand, but the car is not. It is totaled.
And what we mean by totaled is the main frame rails have been bent on that automobile, so it's a tough situation for the team. Now we go back to the restart. Double foul, it's going into the live call.
Down into turns 1 and 2. It's a drag race for the point position. Imler and Houston, side by side, wheel to wheel race fans. Look at the top 4 rows running like it's a pace lap out there. At full speed, Imler has problems.
Not only Imler having problems, but also Houston. He gets the car a bit squirrely there, but he manages to hold on to the lead position. Barry Audi pressuring him just behind, running side by side with Imler. Last time Clayton Houston won a race here at Jennerstown was back on June 6th for our 25th anniversary, and Audi is running very strong tonight, too, as strong as we've seen him in recent weeks.
Imler has shown great strength on the outside of the track, and being tucked in low, it's been a disadvantage for him early in the race. Now we're moving on to lap 14, the lead battle. Look at this. Glenn Galt, the American Title and Trust 32, hooked up to the outside. Barry Audi slamming in the door on him, so to speak, continues holding on to second as the veteran Clay Houston, the Unimarts #1, continues with the lead. But look at Rick Miller there on the low side in the A1 Engineering 19. He and Galt almost get together in the front straight, and Miller's hooked up and flying in third place position. Here comes Audi to the low side. It's a duel down the back straight, but it is nullified because Vince Rendisi over in turn 2, we'll see it shortly here, he spins to bring out the yellow. And then Rendisi was also involved in another incident.
Before we can even get another lap in, Vince Randisi involved in a little mishap with Alan Shawless. There we see Randisi on the inside retaining wall in the front. There is Alan Shawless. And unfortunately, what it's going to wind up doing is putting the 57 on the hook, and he's going to be towed into the pits. That's the end of the evening tonight for Vince Randisi. We can tell you Vince and Alan both okay after that mishap.
That lap 16 miscue necessitates a restart, and out of turn 4, it's Clay Houston with the Unimarts #1 still in the lead. That Dillon chassis, Lumina-bodied automobile, and Barry Audi holding on to second makes a serious bid with Rick Miller almost trying to make it 3 wide down the back straight. Audi continues trying to sit up to that low side. Clay Houston, Steve, he is one of the toughest drivers to pass on this oval.
You can ask almost any driver on the track. They'd rather see the #1 behind them rather than in front of them because they know how tough it is to get by him. Right now, though, we're going to turn our attention to a good battle for second place. It's Rick Miller putting a good move on Barry Audi as they head down the back chute. He looks like he'll hold the position. Audi mounts a bit of a recharge, but it falls short, and now Miller can begin to set his sights on the lead position. Also working his way up through the field is the number 32 of Glenn Galt, but Rick Miller now is flying as he works his way up to the back bumper of Clay Houston.
It's on the lap 20 in this lead battle scenario, and Rick Miller with the A1 Engineering chassis, Jim Dolan Chevrolet machine, has really hooked up to the low side of this racing service, dives almost off the banking, makes a commitment on Clay Houston, and just blows by him out of turn 2 down the back straight. You know, Steve, this fellow from Connellsville has had 3 fast times already this year. As we move on in this event, it's a few laps later, and the battle's for second.
With Miller clearly in the lead, that second place battles between Barry Audi, Clay Houston, and Glenn Galt. There goes Barry Audi. He puts the move on the inside of Clay Houston, and guess who's following right on Audi's bumper? It's the number 32, the Orange Blossom Special of Glenn Galt, and he's hanging right on Barry Audi's back bumper. And the number 42 of Chargin' Charlie Craigan gets into the act. We're moving ahead of the event, just a few laps to go. It's a battle for third place, and 2 familiar cars, 2 familiar drivers. The 32 of Glenn Galt, the 42 of Chargin' Charlie Craigan, running #1 and 2 in points here at Jennerstown, and 1 and 2 in the Northeast region of the NASCAR Winston Racing Series.
But not running 1 and 2 tonight in this race. Unbelievably, they continue duking it out for third on this last lap, but look at the lead that the 19 of Rick Miller has. He certainly has command of this event. You know, in weeks past, it was always the car going away on him, the handling compartment, but tonight it's strong from start to finish, and he'll pick up his second win in 1992 at Jennerstown.
Solid top 5 performances for all these drivers tonight, and a big moral boost for Rick Miller's team as well, I'm sure, back in victory lane. One guy who's on a dream season this year, you know, Mike, is Chargin' Charlie Craigan, and he's the subject of this week's race break.
This race break is brought to you by Steel, the world's largest chainsaw manufacturer.
You may know him as the Triple C or the Charging One, but whatever handle you know him by, Charlie Craigan's current season is undisputedly the finest in his racing career. It all began in 1975 for this soft-spoken Hopewell, Pennsylvania pilot whose smile is as much of a trademark as his heavy right foot. While his first decade of racing was spent on local dirt tracks with consecutive successful seasons, it was the change to asphalt that demonstrated the 42-year-old's ability to adjust and master a completely different form of the sport. In his second season on the pavement, he captured a career first win in 1988 at Jennerstown, and from there, nothing was going to slow the pace of the Scanlon Clinic-owned Biter Brother Crude team. 1990 saw him as a dominant feature winner in the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later Late Model Division at Jennerstown with 5 victories, and the following season saw him capture 4 wins and enough top 5 finishes at both the Laurel Highlands Oval and Motordrome to garner a 6th place point standings in the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Northeast region. But nothing has compared to the trail that has been blazed in 1992. As of August 3rd, Craigan has won 17 features in western Pennsylvania, including an incredible 13 wins out of 16 events at Motordrome and 4 wins at Jennerstown. 16 of those victories count in the NASCAR Winston Racing Series Northeast region, where he has led since the opening day of point events. Already besting a personal season high of 13 wins in 1979, Craigan seems to be destined to capture a career-first NASCAR regional crown. But win or lose, you can always count on the Charging One to keep on smiling.
This race break has been brought to you by Steel, the world's largest chainsaw manufacturer.
Just because Steel builds some of the most dependable chainsaws in the world, a lot of people think that's all we do. But all across the country, from the firehouse to the farmhouse, from ballparks to backyards, more and more homeowners and professionals have discovered that Steel power tools stand out in any field. Visit your local Steel dealer today and find out why. You may be in for a powerful surprise. If you depend on power tools, depend on Steel.
There's lots of great reasons to get your auto parts at Giant Auto Parts. Huge selection, friendly, knowledgeable service,
Hi, may I help you?
and everyday low prices. But here's the best part. Giant has the best parts. Giant carries a full line of quality Purolator oil and air filters for almost any car, foreign or domestic, at great everyday low prices. So get to the best part at Giant Auto Parts. There's a Giant Auto Parts near you.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. The surefire performance of ACDelco. We don't just race, we win.
We're back with the ACDelco Pro Stocks in their 25 circuit feature event.
It'll be up to number 33, Butch Durkis, as he's sitting on the pole to start the field when Ron Brutt drops the flag. But if we look back in the field a little bit, the Brads, Smales and Cole, and just behind them, Jeff Dunmeyer, and last week's feature winner, Denny Wingard, looking to repeat this week.
It's a clean start out of turn 4, and we get the green flag, and we're racing. The front row machines of Jerry Wisner on the outside. Below him, Butch Durkis side by side to battle for the lead. Down the back straight, it's a good time to take it to the live call.
Up down the back straightaway, and AJ's Furniture number 20, and it's a battle for second. Meanwhile, the 91 of Chucky Kessler works the low side at 25 of Bill Krause. They're battling. Oh, we're trying to make it 3 wide to front straight. Hold on to your seats, race fans. Oh, my goodness, it's heart attacks. Bill in turns 1 and 2. Dave Haupt with a near 3 wide pass to the lead position.
And as the rookie Haupt assumes the lead position, look at the field stacked up behind him. Chuck Kessler, Butch Durkis duking it out for the number 2 spot. Kessler puts the move on the low side and assumes the bridesmaid position, but the rest of the field is hot on their heels as they exit turn 4 down the front straight. And here comes the 68 of Brad Cole. He's beginning to put a move on Durkis, actually has made the move and is now setting his sights on the number 2 spot, now held by Chuck Kessler.
It's on to lap 8, still the battle for the lead, and 2 Somerset, Pennsylvania drivers. Dave Haupt in the AJ's Furniture 20 and Brad King Cole in the Pizza Hut 68 machine continue the race nose to tail. Now, a rookie mistake possibly here. Watch the 20 of Haupt. Right there, the back end comes loose, and it opens up the high side for King Cole. He says, yeah, I'll try that high side line on him.
And the setup on Cole's car must really be working tonight, because he makes the car stick like glue as they exit turn 4 down the front straight, and he assumes what appears to be the lead, but something interesting happens. The number 76 of Randy Poet has a spin out on the back straight, and he just never really gets into any traffic. He proceeds to go right into the pits, and we continue green flag racing, and there on the back straight is Brad Cole taking the lead from Dave Haupt.
Cole appears to begin to stretch out that lead over Dave Haupt. Haupt, only about 8 weeks behind a race car. He'll get his day in the sun yet. But we go on to lucky lap 13, but not so lucky for the 84 Jerry Wisner. He was involved with an incident with Tim Johnson's number 70 machine, and that brought out the yellow.
Back to green flag racing after the restart, and it's a battle for third place, and these three drivers have just a bit more seat time than Dave Haupt does, but he'll get there too. The number 26 of Bob Arsenberger, 41 of Brad Smells, and 07 of Jeff Dunmire, and it's a heated battle for third place, and lurking behind them, the number 49 of Denny Wingard, hot off his win last week. Let's take it right into the live call.
Side by side, wheel to wheel, Brad Smells tries to make the move. He opens up the window and playing the cat burglars as number 7 of Jeff Dunmire. He sneaks through. Here's Denny Wingard. He wants to get a light through that window. Says, I can put the mask on and play the burglar as well, and he's able to get through.
Wingard takes that Ford Thunderbird Super Coupe up through the field. As we move on late in the race, it's a battle for the second place position. And there's Brad Smales, who has 5 feature wins in this division in 1992. And there a little bit of door knocking. He's able to go to the low side to the rookie Hop down the back straight. And here comes Jeff Dunmire. He tries to make the move to the low side as well. And the rookie Hop is getting a lesson in what it's like in short track racing.
But you know, Mike, I'm sure a few more lessons like that, and it's Dave Haupt going to be teaching the lessons to perhaps some other drivers a bit later on. But it is Brad Smales assuming the number 2 position, followed by Jeff Dunmire, and Denny Wingard says, yeah, I like this too. I'm going to make the pass on Haupt. It's on to the final lap of the event, and it is all Brad King Cole as he works his way down the back straight, and he'll be making a repeat visit to victory lane again. He's established just about a quarter of a track lead on Brad Smales. Smales trying to make up the distance, but he's running out of time in real estate, so it is Cole at the start-finish line for the victory.
And then looking over the top 5, Jeff Dunmire with a strong third-place position. Bob Arsenberger continues hanging in top 5 finishes. We'll be right back with more action. Stay with us.
There's smoke, there's fire. The surefire performance of ACDelco. We don't just race, we win.
Saturday, it's the most prestigious race of the year for the NASCAR Winston Racing Series at Jennerstown Speedway, as County Line Cheese presents the 25th annual Laurel Highlands event. See 230 laps of combined feature racing for the John Auto Parts Pure Later Late Models, ACDelco Pro Stocks, Valvoline Street Stocks, and Steel Pure Stocks. And remember, children 12 and under are admitted absolutely free. Gates open at 3, late model time trials at 5:30, and racing at 6 p.m. with the County Line Cheese presentation of the 25th annual Laurel Highlands event this Saturday at Jennerstown Speedway.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
Here they are, our Thunder and Lightning division, as we affectionately call them, the Valvoline Street Stocks, and their 20-circuit main, and a look at the top 3 rows.
Interesting to point out the number 66 of Jason Mignon and 55 of Al Angelico, both of them looking for their first career feature wins in the Street Stock division, and skulking back in the middle of the field, yeah, all of our points leaders.
And as they come up the speed, you know, Steve, Daytona and Talladega, they don't have anything on our guys in this division. Here's the call.
Turns 1 and 2, Jason Mignon in the Mr. Stubbs restaurant. Budweiser 66 holds on to the point position. Here comes the wild man. Al Angelica down the back straight, trying to make a move on Mignon. The 73 of Mark Berkey right there. Oh, door knocking with a 33 of John Komarski. Hold on to it. Watch this through turns 3 and 4. Jeff Stewart up high, trying to make the move on Komarski down the front straight. 3 wide in the middle of the pack as we work into turns 1 and 2.
And as the thunder continues to roar and the lightning to flash, in the lead we find the number 66 of Jason Mignon, Alan Angelichio, hot on his heels. Moving ahead in the event, it's lap 6, still the battle for the lead, and still the same two cars out front, but here comes pressure from Ron Coral and the number 92 of Jeff Stewart.
Oh, look at these guys like a flock of seagulls down the back straight. It's hard to imagine, Steve, that this was once an entry-level division at the Jennerstown Speedway, because these guys run like pros out there anymore, just fender to fender, side by side, wheel to wheel. One slip up and you go from second to sixth place position in this pack. We're going to take it down into turns 1 and 2, and it's a great time to take it to the live call.
Behind, looking like a pack of vultures, ready to strike on Irwin, Pennsylvania's Mignon. Oh, Mignon can feel the breath of Angelichio in the back of his uniform as he's breathing right down the back bumper of that automobile. Down the front straightaway. Oh, put a tent over these top automobiles, 7 cars strong. We're 2 by 2. I told you it was like a draft at Daytona. Look at the rows, 2nd through 4. Now, the 55 of the Wild Man decides to separate himself and pressure for the lead. Mignon, since the drop of the green, will come around at the halfway point and say, oh, give me the checker, please.
But the rest of that flock of vultures says, you better not, because we want to say something about that. What we're going to do now is move ahead in the event. We're going to be coming around lap 11. Still a battle for the lead. Jason Mignon still out front. The wild man, Alan Angelichio, hot on his heels. And it's still pretty much the same set of characters. Ron Coral, Brian Audie, Jeff Stewart, Mike Heminger, and they're all beginning to pressure. And oh no, Ron Coral gets the car squirrely, taps into Mike Heminger, spins it out, and that's going to bring out a yellow.
And that'll bring us to a restart on lap 13. Green flags out. We're racing in this wrestling match. It's still Jason Mignon with the ride of his life. The driver that took over this car from Mark Roberts halfway through last season, and he's really beginning to shine in 1992 at Jennerstown, holding on to the point position. Alan Angelichio, he's a graduate from the Steel Pure Stocks in his rookie season in the Valvoline Street Stocks. And here comes Jeff Stewart, who has a career first win this season in this division. As they exit out of 4 down the front straight, we're again going to take it to the call.
The 75 of Brian Audie. Audie begins to pressure the low side. Oh my goodness, Angelichio right there. It's a battle for the lead into turn 3, race fans. And Mignon denies the opportunity to Alan Angelichio. Jeff Stewart up high, and a flock of automobiles in a battle for the lead on the front straight.
And you know, Mike, as you said earlier, one miscue by any of these cars could result in one of 2 things. Disaster, or you're no longer in 1st or 2nd place, you're in 6th place. These guys are really moving, and there is no room for error whatsoever. How do these guys do it without any rearview mirrors? How do you know who to fight? Who's coming up behind you?
What behind me is not important, Steve.
If you're worried about who's trying to pass you, it is. Of course, I guess you want to pay a little more attention to who's in front of you. It's the same group of 5 cars in the battle for the lead down the back straight. Let's go right back to the live call.
Here comes Jeff Stewart. Stewart to the outside of Mignon. Oh, we've got a tussle for the lead. Out of turn 4. Stewart up high. Mignon down on the low side. Down the front straight. Look at this. Into turns 1 and 2. Jason Mignon and Jeff Stewart. Stewart trying to break through for the point position. And the Power 92 Super Sport Thunderbird goes into the lead.
As Jeff Stewart concentrates on maintaining the lead. Watch this out of turn 4. Audie up high, Mignon, boink. They get together and we continue green flag racing. Here comes the 72 of Mike Heminger to the high side of 55 Angelichio, but we go right back to our lead automobiles. Stewart up high. It leaves an opening to the low side, and the rows number 75 of Audie will make the challenge, and he gets by successfully, so we move to the last lap, and here's Audie with the lead. He'll pick up the checker at Jennerstown in the Valvoline Street Stock Division.
The Thunder and Lightning division never failing to entertain the crowd. There's our top 5 finishers, and good finishes for Jason Mignon and Al Angelichio. Still looking for that career first win, but I'm sure they'll find it. Back in victory lane, there he is, Brian Audie. Now we're going to move ahead for our final event of the evening. It's the Steel Pure Stock 15-lap feature, and there's a look at our front 3 rows.
If we call the Valvoline Street Stocks the Thunder and Lightning division, we might want to call this division the Burnt Rubber Treaded Tire Smoking division. The street tires that these drivers run on, it's incredible. They get sideways and just literally smoke and kill all the mosquitoes through the turns. They come up to speed under Ron Brutt's green flag, and we are racing.
Into turn 1, let's go to the call.
1 and 2. Ron Conway with that unusual line off the banking, trying to make it stick, but Chris Kokenauer takes over the lead. On the back straight, Mabel, open the refrigerator door. Will we make it work? Will the mayonnaise make a sandwich? No, but we continue green flag racing.
And the Terminator extends his lead a bit, but Ron Conway and Jimmy Friedline work their way into turns 1 and 2. And oh no, Conway says, I didn't know my rear quarter panel was that long. Friedline touches him, but we continue green flag racing. Conway manages to hold on to the number 2 spot, but Jimmy Friedline says, here I come, and look on the outside. The number 28 of Sean the Bullet Beam. He's getting into the act, and he's going to start to apply some pressure. Right behind him, the Triple L, Lucky Larry Lee Heminger, and he's trying to stay out of everybody's...
Oh, there's cars all over the place, Steve.
We got to get ourselves together here, Mike.
I don't know. Why should we? They don't.
It's a few laps later, and Chris Kokenauer's in the lead. You want to tell him he doesn't have it together?
No, he's a pretty big puppy out there, so we'll let him alone and concentrate on this battle for a second. Ron Conway continues with it. The Beggs printing 78, and Jimmy Friedline right there. Sean Lee Bullet Beam on the low side continues to try to hunt Friedline's bumper, at the same time closing up to Conway.
To this point, Conway running an excellent race, handling the pressure from Beam and Friedline very well, but Sean the Bullet Beam has enough experience to know how to apply that little bit of extra pressure, and as they work their way into turns 1 and 2, he starts to do just that. This is an excellent battle for second place. There's Beam making a move on the low side on Conway. Conway slams the door on him. Beam gets the car squirrely, smokes that right rear tire, and here comes Jimmy Friedline to get in on the fray.
This fray continues. We take it to lap 6, still the battle for second. And the Beggs printing 78 of Ron Conway, holding that middle groove. The Baron Trucking Ford Torino 28 of Sean Beam, the Somerset, Pennsylvania driver, continues to peak to the low side as they pass Lisa Jones' automobile, working through turns 3 and 4. And Beam dirt tracks the automobile, holds on to it, smoke pouring off that right rear.
Even with the smoke pouring off the right side of the car, he gets his nose in front of it. Eventually, the entire car in front of Conway. Conway gets way up on the banking, has problems up there. Jimmy Friedline follows Sean the Bullet Beam as well, and they assume the number 2 and 3 spots. Moving ahead in the event, just 2 laps to go. It's now a battle for the lead. It is still the Terminator in the lead, but Sean Beam has made up the distance, and he's beginning to apply some pressure as they work their way out of turns 2. Kokenauer, the rookie in this division, Beam more of the veteran. And you know, Mike, these two have been here before. They know each other all too well. I feel some heat in the kitchen. Let's take it right to the live call.
Bates up high. Here comes Beam. The white flag. 1 lap remaining. Beam says hello. How do you do? Oh, they get together. And look at this. We continue green flag. Oh, my goodness, race fans.
Well, trying to be in one place with 2 automobiles didn't work out. We did get a yellow, and we went back to a restart. This is the last half of the last lap, and Kokenauer continues with the point position. Jimmy Friedline pressures there momentarily, but dirt tracking the automobile out of turn 4. It's the Terminator, Chris Kokenauer, with his 2nd career win in 1992 at Jennerstown.
And here's a look at our top 5 finishers. We'll be back with some more words of wisdom after this.
Words of wisdom? Wait,
I was wise. You're wise.
Just because steel builds some of the most dependable chainsaws in the world, a lot of people think that's all we do. But all across the country, from the firehouse to the farmhouse, from ballparks to backyards, more and more homeowners and professionals have discovered that steel power tools stand out in any field. Visit your local steel dealer today and find out why. You may be in for a powerful surprise. If you depend on power tools, depend on steel.
Al Unser Jr. knows the corkscrew at Laguna Seca with his eyes closed. Fortunate, considering it's a blind turn. Mark Martin knows if he lets someone cross his wake at 200 miles per hour, his car may be doing the lambada. And Joe Amato knows that at 296 miles per hour, he must pull his chute at precisely the right moment to keep from becoming an astronaut. Apparently, it is what you know.
Pizza Hut introduces New York deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. What do the experts say?
The potpourri of deli taste is quite assertive.
A tour de force of beef and cheese.
A smorgasbord of innuendo.
There's an undercurrent of whimsy here.
Goosebumps.
Impetuous.
I honestly had goosebumps.
You gotta try New York deli and Philly cheesesteak pizzas. Just $4 with any regular price pizza. New from Pizza Hut.
It practically swaggers with confidence.
That concludes racing for this week. Don't forget to obtain your Jennerstown Speedway reserved seat $2 discount coupons that are redeemable at all race events up to September 19th at participating Giant Auto Parts stores. Your place for the best parts, where you find Purolator products, the first name in oil filters. You'll also find them at participating Keystone Steel dealers. Steel, the world's largest chainsaw manufacturer. And at participating Western Pennsylvania auto parts stores, where you'll find quality ACDelco parts. ACDelco powers the winners. Also at participating Western Pennsylvania Pizza Hut locations, where you can pick up your official size 3 hand-stitched soccer ball for only $2.99 with the purchase of any Pizza Hut pizza. And finally, at participating Valvoline instant oil changes, Napa Auto Parts stores,